Hello plastic model builders, it is me, Ari Stone, your host of Plastic Model Builder. This is it, it's finally here. It's the Tamiya F-4B Phantom in 1/48 scale. Everyone's been waiting for this model. We are going to do a box break. If you haven't seen my other videos, remember, go back, watch them, subscribe, comment, and like, of course. Don't forget to watch the entire videos, that way you don't miss anything. So anyway, it is a brand new tool. Everyone's been waiting for this, as I said, for quite some time. We're going to open it up, see what's inside. Of course, you have the box art, shows you the pictures of everything that you want to see. Starting off, we have our first bag right here, which looks like it's the lower wings and the upper wing halves, along with landing gear doors. We have here engine compartments, ejection seats, tail fins, and some fuel tanks. I showed you just like this. Engine intakes and rear tail fins, the stabilizers. All sorts of good stuff going on there. Got a big fuel tank over here, flaps, some armament rails for the missiles, whatnot, miscellaneous parts. This with high detail, looks like it goes under the wings, stuff like that for your wheels. This bag right here has part of the tail and of course the underside of the plane and just miscellaneous control panels for the cockpit. This bag right here is the main fuselage half. Right here, and of course the end tail right there. Right here, this is the canopy glass. This is if you want to make the canopies open. It does have the front piece, which is right here. That is one whole thing that joins up to the fuselage of the plane. This right here, this is the missile rails. You got the top part of the aircraft, some landing gear, more flaps, the intakes, what appears to be the part of the cockpit, especially right here. More parts of it right here. More parts for the intake on the side. Got a bunch of missiles and armament right here that need to be assembled. Plastic parts in case you want the canopy to be closed in the down position. More of the rear tail fins, nose cone. It's right here. It's for the tail fin itself. It's got those little antennas on it. And then the rear of the aircraft right there where the engines go. One bag here. This is the instructions. We have right here, this is the instruction manual, the F-4 Phantom B, the Phantom 2. 24 pages of this. If you want to see these instructions and details, I'm not going to show you in this video. You can watch another video immediately after this and I will have the instructions on there if you care to see those. Of course, this is a little bit background information of the plane. We're not going to go over this. If you buy it, you can read it yourself. And of course, we have these full-scale drawings of each version of this plane. There are 3 of them. 1, 2, and I did mention that these are full scale for the aircraft of 1/48. Then here is the 3rd one, and on the back side are the stencils. Got this little sheet here for tech tips, nice to have that. This is our decal sheet. Inside of it we have right here are the masks for the canopies. One set of decals right there. Then a full page of tedious stencils for accuracy. Got to get that on there. And of course, you have the inside of this box. Important information concerning the kit. Read it, that way you don't miss it. Now let's go over the parts so we could see what kind of fine detail they have, because I know that's really what you want to see to determine whether or not you want to buy this kit. And I can tell you just from looking at it from the package, you do. our first part, we're going to take it out of the bag. The bags are stapled together, so be careful with that. You don't want to hurt yourself on staples. You've got the wings right here. So you've got your lower section, which is the underside of the plane, and of course your top halves right here. Got some flaps going on, and of course that side right there is the landing gear. The panel lines are recessed. They're not overly pronounced. They're just right, so take attention to that. They did a wonderful job on this when they constructed this aircraft. They don't want to leave any seam lines, so kudos to them for that. So you can see the detail we have going on right here. This is the rear of the aircraft, and you see the wheel well. Actually, those aren't the wheel wells. Those are the speed brakes underneath the aircraft. You can see the detail inside of those. Looks really good. This is the front part of that. Here are some just miscellaneous parts that they have. I'm not exactly sure what they all are. We all know they go on the inside though. And then here, this is going to be for where the landing gear goes. Some landing gear, what do you call them? Landing gear stuff. We'll just call it landing gear stuff. You know how that goes. Can't remember names. There's another flap right there that you see, and some more landing gear stuff and flaps. There's the next bag. It's got the tail fins, the engines, and of course the ejection seats. So let's look at the detail in this. And this right here, I said they were tail fins, but they're really not. Those are for the wings when they go up. That's how they look. Those are the underside, and this is the top side of them. Got our little guy there. One of the ejection seats that they just sit right down inside of the plane. So it looks really good when it's done. It's inside of one of the engines right there. Not the engines, but you know, the afterburner kind of things where they come out. There's the top side of them. Got some wheels that are just right here. Those look really good too. I like the detail. And then this is the inside of the engine. Got our little exhaust coming up right there. You can see is the turbine, drop tank off to the side there. And there is another blade right there. One of these other bags, we've got these little parts right here. This is for the tail stabilizers so they can move back and forth, I believe. Either that or it holds them secure. I'm not exactly sure how the directions had that. Here they are close up. I really don't know what they are. They look like a piece of rubber, so that's that. So this right here, these two pieces, this is so you can have the wings, the wing tips in either the up or the down position. So that's really handy. They've got some great detail here. They do have the engine intakes. I guess the only con about those is that they're in two different pieces. So, you know, you got to put those together and then look all the way down inside, which I hate doing that. It's hard to kind of fill the seams. I guess intakes, they are what they are. I haven't seen a good one yet of a great design where they're virtually seamless. We'll see how well these look once they get together though. So there is the inside right there, like I was talking about, of the engines, you know, the shafts there. And then this is for bending if you want to put the wingtips up. That's how they look when they go up. There is the tail stabilizers right there. And of course, just some miscellaneous parts for the landing gear and other stuff right there. We'll show you how this looks right here. This is for the exhaust ports and the wheel well on the aircraft as well. You've got your middle drop tank. So now here we have landing gear. We've got some of our pylons. You can see all the detail inside of those, all the little rivets. Looks really good. This right here, you know, you're going to have to put an exhaust port down there. That's the inside right there of where the landing gear goes, and just neat detail. So we've got one bag here. This is laser sealed, heat sealed, sonically sealed, whatever you want to call it. So here we've got some really nice detail of the tail stabilizer and the cockpit control panels. That right there, you can see this is all stuff that's going to go for the landing gear inside of the wheel wells. Some of this is, you know, like for the control panels inside of the cockpit. Some are big, some are small. Just got little ones all over the place. Got this one right here. You see a little fine detail. You can put some decals on there, or you can paint them. It's however you want to do it. It is your model. And, you know, you got that front piece probably right there. I'd imagine sits in front of the plane. And this is the underside. You can see where the missiles are going to go. Right there at the front of the fuselage. Got to have that. Of course, you're going to make it look seamless as possible, like I mentioned earlier. And then this little bit right here, that's some detail on the stabilizer. Here we have our fuselage thirds, and the reason I say thirds is because we've got one whole side here, then over here you've got the front and then the rear of that. Now looking at the top of this, you can see along here, this is obviously designed so right here you have no seam going down the middle the way they designed this. You're going to put the two halves together, plate will go on top of that, and then you'll have, if anything, a small amount at the very end where the tail sits. That way it's virtually seamless. It's hidden by panel lines and you can see those all along the edge here. That is a great design. And of course the inside, you have your mounting areas for the cockpit and all the instrument panels. Now looking at this, you can see this is the front of the plane because you have where the air ducts are going to go. And then this right here is what I was talking about. You're going to have that piece sit right on top of that. And that covers up that seam line and it basically makes a panel line instead for the top. That way you don't see it. It's just creative genius. Easy modeling. Got the end right there. You see the tail, what'll go nice stainless steel color. You know, make it look pretty. Cockpit right there. This is 4 sections right here for the canopies if you want to do them in the closed position. The only one being the same is this right here. This is the top piece. It sits down on the front of the plane once it's done. It's a whole piece, that's why it's hidden by the panel lines. They've got these protective guards. There are no lines going down the middle of any of these. They molded these in one full piece, which is excellent. You've got your middle piece right here and of course your 2 cockpit pieces. This obviously being the front and this one being the rear of the aircraft. So as promised, this is the front. You can see it sits down right on the front of the aircraft instead of just a piece of glass there that you have to kind of align, make sure it gets perfect. That's the middle portion there in between the 2 canopies from the rear and the front. And then there's the rear canopy right there. Looks good. And of course the next one you'll see will be the front canopy aside from the windshield. And that's front canopy right there. So that's the glass. Here's the top panel I was talking about. It'll sit on top of the fuselage. That way it hides all the seam lines and all that good stuff, along with our different types of armament railings that they have, the pylons for them, and some of the landing gear. A lot of little pieces on this. And this is it right here. It's going to sit right there down on top of the plane. Provide as seamless as possible. Because you see it's going to go right along that edge panel line right there. It's kind of a long piece. But hey, they do what they got to do to hide stuff. Smart. Got some landing gear right there. More pylons for the missile rails. Landing gear doors. Finally remember the name. And pylons. Look at the detail on those. Looks really crisp. And you see how nothing's pronounced. And then there's the refueler probe right there. So this here, we're going to get a good look at this. We've got our intakes. The wheel well underside, of course, which mounts to the cockpit, which is right here. We've got a bunch of sidewalls for the wheel well, and some of the instrument panels are in here, and we're going to take a nice deep look at that so you can see all the wonderful detail that they've done. So you can see right here, this is for the wheel well and the front wheel. These are going to be the sidewalls for it, so you just have to pay attention to how you want to paint this. All this is for making the wheels. It'll turn out good, I'm sure. At least the wheel well. That's the canopy as well. And then you got your side things, can't remember the name, that go right on the side of the plane for the air ducts. They're splitters. Then here's the cockpit. A little bit of detail. You see where all the instrument panels are going to go. And of course, again, make it look pretty. There's panels right there. Model making madness. And of course, some sides of the air ducts right there. And then this is just the back of the plane for the canopy. Simple, simple, simple. Done very nicely. They did a good job. I'm proud of. Then here you see we've got this. It is the rear right there. That is the actual part of the wheel well. So you will see that. Make that look pretty too, of course, because that's how we do things. 2 pieces right here for all the missiles. You got some Sidewinders and you got some Sparrows. They're in 2 different halves. Nice, very detailed. We'll take a look at this. they've got the front portions that go into the missiles for the Sparrows, and then they're divided up into twos. Now you can see the Sparrows right here. They look pretty decent from what I can tell. I haven't really done any other missiles except for the Revell ones, and these look decent, so we know those are good. Let's move along here. You'll see other portions. We've also got on this the Sidewinders, which you see right there. That's the front of them, the way they're designed. It just kind of clamps onto the front, and there's the rear. You could see the detail of that little fin there on how it spins everything and makes it go forward. And then of course you've got just your fins for making the thing go in whatever direction it wants to go. Have right here, this is for a closed canopy. You can see right here, and then we've got our LED displays and some little lights, landing lights, all that kind of thing. Normal for a model like this. Small parts though. And this is what it looks like up close. You see it's just one whole piece, that way leaves no seams. And we have the other pieces of glass right there. You've got the nose cone, and of course this is the tail fins right here. So you know they go up and down, all that good stuff. And this, well constructed, not bent like some models I've seen. The antennas for this tail. You can see it's nicely done. It's going to sit perfectly in that, and you see where those rubber pieces are going to go right there. Kind of fits in between that. Little bit of detail, all the little rivets and the panel lines. And that's the rear right there for the engines. Pretty much it. Not a lot left here. And then there you go, end of the engines right there. That's where they will go, and they look pretty. And of course the antennas on the tail, nicely done, very thick. And of course we have our front masks right there. These are for the windshields. It even tells you which one they're supposed to go on. Makes it easy. As the middle, and of course the rear. They did a really good job with this. I am proud. You do have to cut it out though. Then you see all the details. Fun names that you have here for some of them. Lieutenant Doc Brown. You got that little eagle, whatever it is, falcon, I don't know, straw dogs. Some talons. They look really good. I like the decals, very impressive. It's a great kit. Danger, of course, and I imagine that would be for a split wing, something like that, because there was only one of them. And then you just see don't walk, danger, walkway. Instrument panel right there, looking pretty good. They got all those sorts of neat things here that you can look at. Even seat belt straps. I don't know if I'm gonna do those or paint those. And then this is the stencil sheet. You see all the stencils that they got there. And of course for the helmets, here they are. So for decals for the helmet, so you don't have to paint anything. And then a little bit of those fold out, so it shows you where all the decals go. Very crisp and clean. Shows where every single piece is supposed to go. There's the front of this illustration. All the way to the nose. And then here's that eagle. Again, another great job that they did. They really are on top of their game with this. You get what you pay for this model, I can assure you. And there's the stencils right there. They look good. A whole full backing just for stencils and where to apply them for the A and C version. Alright, so let's go over what we've got. Pretty box. Got wonderful details. They hid the seam lines as best as possible, it appears. You've got options for a closed canopy. You've got options for the wingtips to be raised or lowered. You can lower the two flaps on the sides and as well the air brakes. So a bunch of moving parts that you can actually, not moving parts, a bunch of different options that you can do. And of course you have the refueling probe that sticks out on the side. This is the F-4B Phantom 2 by Tamiya 1/48 scale, brand new tool. If you like it, get out and buy it. That's all I have to say. Can't wait to build this. Until next time, see ya.